You've been holding it down for so long, carrying the weight, staying so strong. But it's time to let go of the pain. No more hiding behind all that endless rain. You've been told you need to be better than the rest, running through life, feeling all that stress. But here's a place where you can just be, relax, relate, and set your soul free. Strong black woman, put that kick down. You're not superwoman, put on your crown. It's okay to cry, go ahead and breathe, redefine strength.
All right. Yes. The jam. Yes.
I love
Welcome
that
back.
intro.
I love the intro. Yes. One day we got to play the full song, the full two-minute song.
And what you really need to do is play it and watch us, because I don't know about y'all, but I'll be in here like, I'll be. You would swear I was in a club somewhere, like
In the Cadillac.
Right. Yes, love the intro. Love it. So thank you so much for tuning into another episode of the Strong Black Woman Support Group podcast, where we talk about how to get things right when shit go left. All right. So in the last episode, we talked about hustle versus flow, the realities of being a Black woman, the realities of Black womanhood. And so today we're going to talk about ways to stop hustling and start flowing. So if you missed last week's episode, go watch it. No, sorry. If you missed last week's episode, we're going to talk about what does hustle look like, what does flow look like. Then we're going to talk about why is it so hard for us to transition from hustling to flowing, and then we're going to talk about ways to stop doing that. My name is Regina Renee. I am the host of the podcast. I'm the founder of the Strong Black Women Support Group community, also the curator and creator of the Strong Black Women Redefined annual conference. And I'm here with the lovely Erica V and also the lovely Dr. Akua. And for those of you who are new, these young women, they're going to introduce themselves and we're going to get, yeah, I'm already lying. I'm already lying.
Hey, everyone.
I'm already lying. You heard what I said.
Hi, everyone. My name is Erica. I'm a friend of the show, and I'm a Salesforce consultant. Happy to be back to always contribute to the conversation and check out the last episode.
And I am the young Dr. Akua, and I am the Black Woman's Wellbeing Coach. And I am here to talk all things about Black woman wellness.
I know that's right. Yes. So like I said last week, we talked about what's hustling, what's flowing, how does it look like for Black women, how do we show up and navigate the world. So, Dr. Akua, why don't you help us out here and just reintroduce what both of those terms mean, hustle versus flow?
Absolutely. So one thing, I'm a huge fan of people defining things for themselves. So you're going to hear a definition, how we talk about it, and you're invited to create the definition that aligns with you. When we're talking about hustling, we're talking about the negative connotation of being overwhelmed, overworked, and underappreciated, underrested, and not well, over involved in different activities, whether it's something that you love, but you're starting to not even starting, you're feeling the pressure of it physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all over the place. It's weighing you down, regardless of whether it's an activity that you love doing or not. And then the flow is when you're in that state where there's a balance. Really, that could be like the whole definition of flow. If there's a balance in your life, and a part of that balance includes care for yourself, then that could be a definition of the flow.
So, why do you think it's so hard for us Black women to transition from hustle mode to getting into our flow state?
Because we've been socialized to be hustlers. We've been socialized to have all the answers, know all the things, solve all the problems, be present in all the places. And we've not only been socialized to believe it, but it's systemically expected and it's also internally believed. So we got within every system that we are part of, school, work, finance, law, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all of those, religion, all of those systems, there is an expectation for the Black woman to show up that way. We've been internally, we believe it, we've internalized some of that. If we taken a break, we guilt ourselves or we guilt each other. There's shame attached to all of that. So it's difficult because we're not just saying, I'm going to take a break. What we're saying is, I'm going to refuse to follow the patterns of billions of women who look like me, who came before me, and I'm going to choose to take care of myself and not overwhelm myself and not extend myself for other people. I'm going to choose me first in many instances. And that's pushing against so much stuff that it sometimes feels easier to just be like, F it, I'm going to just do all the stuff.
Yes, I'll just do it myself. I'll just do it myself. Yeah, you know what? And that's so true. And that's why that's why rest is revolutionary. That's why self-care is resistance, because we're resisting, right, against these systems that were meant to oppress us, right? And
Absolutely.
so hustle culture is not our culture, right? It's, and not to sound militant, and if I do, I don't give a fuck. But not to say, sound militant, but like seriously, like hustle culture is rooted in white supremacy, racism, capitalism, and patriarchy. Three things that are designed to break us down and keep us down forever and ever, forever, ever, forever, ever. So that's why, like Dr. Akua said, that's why just going with the status quo, just like going, that's not going with the flow. That's going with the status quo because it may feel easier. It's like the devil, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's still the devil, and the devil's a liar. And so how do we get from, what'd you say?
You said the devil is a lie, so I went to my Lisa Page Brooks.
He's a truth ain't in
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Y'all are so seriously unserious.
All
I
the
love
time.
it all
100%.
the time. But it's like, it's, oh no, it's the devil, but we have to, I don't want to say we have to. I know for me, I have to really be intentional about resisting the urge to stay in the status quo to get into my flow, because that's not going with the flow. Going with the flow is being in alignment, being balanced, right? Honoring yourself and your values and your passions. That's going with the flow.
Right.
And honestly, I'm gonna just say this super side note, and then I'm gonna dip because I'm super careful as well about telling people what they have to do and what you should do, right? And I'm gonna see if I feel comfortable saying it. I almost feel like it's something that we should really be considering. Like, I'm still soft on the language, but if you think about our ancestors and all that they endured, we shouldn't still be keeping up with the flow they were forced to. They didn't want that. Feel me? Because there was a segment of them who left and decided, I don't want, it's so much that I don't want this. I'm going to risk my
Right.
life and get far away from it. And I almost feel like we're honoring, and we do still have to also name that there were some who was like, they was doing some stuff there. I don't know if y'all know, but they was doing some militant stuff, even the ones that stayed. So that little phrase that say, I'm not my ancestors, we should reconsider saying that, because you feel me? They persevered through some stuff. And I just think, I almost feel like, yeah, we have to. Like, we want to shift something for those that's coming after us. What everything they endured, and now we have certain freedoms and certain, we got to do something different for the ones coming after us. So I'm almost wanting to be like, no, sis, we have
I agree.
to.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Um,
Your parents are like, oh, don't be like me, be better than me. So this is a prime example. Like, don't be like the ancestors in that aspect. Like sometimes they want it better. So be better in the sense of do different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
All respect, fully honoring. And how can we do something different?
how can we do something different that honors ourselves, that preserves ourselves, right? Because for me it's about self-preservation, right?
Mm.
It's and I want to make sure I get my thoughts clear. For a lot of us, we're still in survival mode. We're still in reactionary mode, and which is fine. And that's where we are. That's where we're at, right? And they're like, some people say, "Oh, I don't want to survive. I want to thrive," and that's all fine and dandy. But some of us don't know how to get out of survival mode.
That
And
part.
for me, that's why I say it's self-preservation over self-care. Now, I'm not saying self-care is not important. I got a whole masterclass that we finna put on next month about, the 5 ways to slay, your self-care. But spoiler alert, before we can get to those ways, you have to tackle your self-preservation because you need to be able to transition yourself from survival mode to thrive, thrival, thriving mode.
We
Y'all know
gonna
what I'm trying to say.
hey, all words are made up, huh? Shout out to Son Michelle. So we
I
get to
know
say
that's
thrive.
my head.
I have a question.
Mm.
Would they have to want that for themselves? Or you just can't just shift to it. You have to acknowledge and say, you know what, I want to be able to flow. Do you agree with that?
No, I totally agree with that, and I think that's one of the ways to stop hustling and start flowing is to one define what you want, because before you can want something for yourself, you have to know what you want.
Unless
And
it's food.
so, huh?
Like, what do you
What
want
you
to eat? I
say?
know I want food, but I don't know what I want to eat. But I want
Right, right,
food.
right, right. No, you threw me off for a second, but that really is a good analogy. It's like I know I want to be nourished. I know I want to be whole. I know I want to be balanced. I know I want to be in alignment, but I don't know how to get that, right? I
Right.
don't know what to consume to get that, right? And so yeah, I totally agree with what you just said, Erica. Yeah, absolutely.
I agree too. I would my curiosity would be, and sorry, I had an urgent call that I had to answer. But my curiosity would be, why don't you want it? You feel me? Like I
Mm,
agree with you because obviously, you what do they say? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Why isn't thriving? Why isn't self-preservation? Why isn't self-care something that a person would want? So I do, and that's not an answer anybody's obligated to that's not a question anybody's obligated to answer to me, but I would really encourage folks who say that ain't for me. I would really encourage that person to discover why. Why do you want the overwhelm, the overexposure, the overextending self? Why do you want the more investment, less, like there's no ROI on Black women overextending ourselves? We do not get a return on our investment. You feel good temporarily, but that feeling is fleeting because then you go to the doctor and they tell you, oh, you've got this condition, or then you passing out, or then you start to feel like you're being used by individuals. So for someone to not want it, I would really invite them to question why. Um, and you're right, Erica. In order for them to fully invest in the process and whatever it takes to get to that flow, yeah, they gotta want it first. That's got to be something they want.
yeah, I totally agree. And like you said, that's not a question that needs to be answered like right here and right now. But I do think that's something that if you find yourself saying things like "I'll sleep when I'm dead," you might want to
Mm,
process that.
that's a good point.
You might want to
Because
process that.
we
And
be
it's no
having these
judgment because I've been there.
right,
I'm not talking at people, like seriously.
right.
Because I used to be one of them people. A diva is a female version of a hustler. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm
The
not. I'm
zebra
not talking
rests.
that. Hello.
Period. Get
So
it how you
I'm not
live it.
talking at y'all. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. So I think one of the ways, I think the first way is that Erica was spot on. Like you have to want it, and then the second part is if you don't, and listen, and we're not saying that because if you don't want it, you're wrong. Like shame on you. We're not saying that. But I mean, I'm not saying that. But
And I'm not.
I can't fathom it.
Yeah, and when I say, and I'm not saying, I'm not shaming anyone either. I'm literally saying sit with yourself and understand why. Because, and whatever answer you come up with, listen, if you, at the end of that curiosity moment, if you say, yep, still want it, then, go, sis, go. Like, if you like it, I'll tolerate it. Like, it's not for me to agree or disagree, but it's an opportunity to explore whether what you're telling yourself is a part of your conditioning or if it's actually a part of what you truly desire or truly want. Are you just saying that because that's what you grew up with
Right.
and that's what everybody applauds? Because think about it. If I see you on the street and I'll be like, girl, how you doing? What's the first thing we say? Oh, I'm busy.
I'm good.
Mhm.
Oh, girl, it's crazy over here. And what does the person say in response? I know, girl. I know. It's almost like a badge of honor. Is that really
Mhm.
what we want? Examine that.
I
Exactly.
Examine it.
think to that point as well, we can take that conversation so many different ways because there's so many different things in life where you ask somebody, don't you want better? Don't you want better in this area of your life or that area of life, or even environmental ways as well? Like, okay, you want to move somewhere better, or you want to do this better, or whatever. Why don't you want that? Like, oh, because my parents then had this, or so and so, or the way that the way I grew up and all that. But why don't you want to change that? Aside from the self care aspect, but think about even with jobs. Like, do you want to do this forever? If you don't want to, then you can do something else. Like, oh no, but my grandpa they done did this for 50 years, so I think I'm gonna do the same thing. Or we're so conditioned to what was previously done that we're just stuck in that space, or people are stuck in that space instead of thinking, you know what, I do want more. Or why am I just stuck here? Why can I not think outside the box and go against the grain of what's been done previously? So I think I can go in so many different ways, and asking somebody, what do you want? Do you want better? Like, let's talk about that first. Do you want better in this scenario? So,
And not even better, but different, right? Like, do you
Or
want
more.
different?
because better's not always
Right. Because
what
better
you.
is relative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, and that's from my perspective, that's just a tinge of judgment, right? Well, don't you want better for yourself? Well, somebody they may actually sit down and process, and this is what I want, right? That may not be your cup of tea, but it
right.
might be theirs. But do you want something better or do you want something different? Like Erica said, are you just doing this because you saw your auntie do it, your mom do it, right? You know, I don't know. I really want to me that's the first step is to figure out what you want and really truly want to stop hustling and start flowing, because I can say, oh, I want to lose 100 pounds, right? I could legitimately want that, right? But if I go to Dunkin' Donuts every day and get a Mc whatever, oh no, that's McDonald's. Y'all know what I'm saying.
I gotta go. I gotta go. Can
If
I
I
can
go
I
to Dunkin' Donuts to get a McGriddle,
you're probably not gonna get it. I just want to say that. They probably ain't gonna sell you one.
See?
Um you know what I would say,
I'm snorting.
I don't like
I'm sorry.
I don't like
what I
y'all.
might add to that, I think as we examine what we want, and I'm not necessarily saying this is first step and then second step. I think this is all a part of, of the process. Listen to yourself. I think that's a part of how we get into the flow state. Listen to yourself because either our body tells us a story. If you're, a fairly healthy person and all of a sudden you're starting to have these mysterious pains in different parts of your body, listen to that. Also listen to the things that you say, because I cannot tell you
Mm,
the number of times I've heard people say stuff like, I don't know why they keep asking me to do this. Ain't nobody else able to do this? How come they don't get so and so to do this? I'm not the only one that, if you start hearing yourself saying things like that more and more and more, these are all things that could be pointing to an open door for you to walk through to your flow state. If I want more, or I want different, or I want better, however we categorize it, listen, your body and your own words and your thoughts, you feel me? They gonna tell you're gonna find your hints in there. Somebody call you, be like, girl, can you talk? And if you're saying, keep on calling me,
Right.
that's a hint. That's a hint. Listen to
that's
yourself.
yeah, definitely. That is definitely a hint. And it's like I'm gonna keep it a being with y'all. Like this is easier said than done, right? And so, and this is why we're having this master class in February, February 25th, 7 p.m. Eastern is virtual. Um, 5 ways to slay your self-care. And one of the activities we're gonna do is help you identify some of this stuff. So yeah, okay, Dr. Ku, I could listen to myself. Like, what do you like? What does that even look like? What does that mean? Like, how do I process that? So, if you do need like some support in that area, please make sure that you sign up for the masterclass because we are going to dive into this a little bit more during the masterclass. If you are a member of the Strong Black Women Support Group, our online community, you get this masterclass for free as part of your membership. If you want to join us, if you want the masterclass for free, make sure that you join us. If you just want to sign up for the masterclass, you can register on Eventbrite. But yeah, we're not just saying stuff. We're gonna give you tools to do it. But right now in the podcast, we're having a conversation. But if you want a little bit more, make sure you do sign up for that masterclass. So far we talked about wanting to stop hustling, wanting to start flowing, listening to yourself. I think another to add to the listen to yourself is quiet time with
Mm.
yourself has really helped me.
Yeah.
Like just sitting with no TV, no radio, no podcast. Even though I want y'all to listen to this podcast, like when you by yourself, turn me off. Just
After.
put pause. Put us on
After.
pause.
Yeah, let it finish
After,
and then afterwards.
then you could do it. But like just really, cause to me, I thought meditation was this whole to do. I'm not even gonna lie. But how I meditate now is, and I don't know if I'm doing it right or if I'm doing it wrong, but this is how Regina Renee does her meditation. Regina Renee goes in her Zen room. It's not really a Zen room, it's really my walk-in closet that I had cleaned out. But
I knew you was gonna say this.
I'm telling everybody it's a Zen room. So it's a Zen room. So I go in my walk-in closet. I don't turn the light on. I close the door and I just literally every morning I just sit in my closet by myself. No radio, no TV, no nothing, in the dark. And whatever comes in my mind comes in my mind. And if there's a thought that is kind of like, I'll process it in real time. Like, why am I thinking this? Like, I literally have no expectations for myself when I go in my Zen room. I just go in there and I sit on the floor. And if I'll just sit there. And if the first thought is, oh, I don't want to go to work today, then I'll say to myself, just in silence, thinking in my head, Regina, why don't you want to go to work today? Oh, because so and so gave me an attitude and I really and truly don't want to deal with her. But why are you so pressed about her giving you an attitude? Oh, because I thought she was a work friend. Well, I mean, I literally have a conversation with myself while I'm in my Zen room. And so I do that maximum 15. I have a timer, maximum 15 minutes. And so really just listening to that's how I listen to myself. And it has really been helpful for me.
That's
I was
a
so
great.
so then that's your answer. When you said, I don't know if I'm doing it right, the fact that you're doing it, the fact that it works for you, you're doing it right. Full stop.
That's a great point because I went to visit my parents a couple days ago, and love Gina Hush. Love my parents, of course. Everybody, love on your parents. When I got back, I just needed to decompress because I was severely overstimulated. Like my parents, they have a million TVs in their house, like literally. And my mom would have her tablet going. My dad would have his TV going. Then my mom would have another TV going. Then there'll be a third TV going that nobody's watching. And then it's just like noise outside. And then my mom is Erica, hey, Erica. And I'm just like, oh my God, it is so much going on here. And so it's just a lot that I didn't even realize that I knew I get overstimulated by sounds, but I realized that in me having to travel back home, that quiet time, because I love music, so I'm gonna listen to music while I'm driving. When I got back home, no lie, I literally did nothing. It was just complete and utter silence for some hours. It was for some hours. Gina texted me the next day, like, "Hey, I think I'm still decompressing because it was a lot, and I'm not because I live by myself. I'm used to when it's just quiet. So I'm used to just peace and quiet. But when there's a lot of things going on, like right now, it's raining outside. So that's like, okay, could you stop with the rain? But when there's so many things going on at one time, you have to listen to your body and say, Gina, stop laughing. Listen to your body and like, what's wrong? Like you're getting agitated or irritated or just overwhelmed in general. And I knew that when I got back here, I needed to do nothing. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want nobody to look at me. I don't want nobody to breathe. I don't want to hear no music. I don't want to hear no air. I don't want to hear nothing. And I don't even want to have any thoughts in my head. Let me just sit in peace and just decompress. And we all need that. It may not even be a meditation factor, but we just need to just sit sometimes. If we're having thoughts, okay, fine, you can meditate that way. But if you just also need just rest, just to be. Being is doing something. Like, oh, I have nothing to do today. I'm not doing anything. You're doing something. You're being by just being in place, doing nothing. That's doing something. So yeah, I had to come back and fully decompress. There was a lot going on. I'm like, all these damn TVs going on. Who watching the TVs? Why is the tablet on? And stop calling my name. It's not Erica today. Damn. I love my parents.
No, but I think what you said was important though. Like, you did something that was restorative to you. So, like you said, you just sat and did quote unquote nothing, but you were doing something. You were restoring yourself. And I think that's really important for us is to um, figure out how to reframe things, right? I ain't doing nothing. Yes, you are. You're resting. You know, it's like literally like when your battery is drained on your phone, you have to plug it in to recharge it, right? You're not saying, "Oh, my phone over there not doing nothing." You say, "My phone's charging." So why you don't give yourself that? You know what I'm saying? Like we got to think about how we talk to ourselves. You know, like you would say that an inanimate object, right, is doing something, but you wouldn't say that you're doing something.
Right.
Just food for thought. That's all. Just food for thought.
Just rest. Just
Yeah, I
rest.
think I think what's coming up as you're saying, as y'all are saying all of that, what's coming up for me, um, in terms of like having that quiet space and having that dialogue with self, gentleness, grace, kindness, love, all
Mhm.
of this directed towards yourself. A lot of times when I share that concept with people, I invite them to think about somebody who they super care about, whether it's like maybe you have a niece who's, a little baby, or maybe you have a grandparent who you just love and grandparent can't do no wrong. Would you ever say any of the things to that person that you say to yourself? 9 times out of 10, we wouldn't. We hold a grace. Oh, she did that. She just a baby. Oh, she did that. She old. She don't know no better. Oh, we have all of these allowances and excuses and reasons why other people get to have certain grace or certain allowances, but for ourselves, oh, we will come for ourselves like somebody was talking about our mama. We will come for ourselves hard too. I know I need to get my stupid self. You know what my dumb tail did? You know
Mhm.
what? Oh, I'm such an idiot. And we don't really think anything of it, but our brains, as fascinating as our brains are, I love our brains, and it's just like I'm super intrigued by it. Our brains don't really, I'm going to say it this way, don't know the difference between something that we just said in jest or in frustration, um, or versus what we really mean.
Mhm.
And if we're in the middle of something and we have all of these strong feelings and we're like, oh, how stupid am I? Our brain doesn't know that that's just a word that we just said to ourselves. Our brain is registering those very strong feelings connected with that very strong sentence that we just said. We're stupid. In this process of moving to that state of flow, be gentle with ourselves. Dang it, I said I was gonna spend time in my, what did you call it, my Zen room this morning, and I didn't. That's all right. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. You know what? I got time right now. I'm gonna do it right now. That's okay. I got this. I'm gonna give yourself that same gentleness and that same grace and that same kindness that you're so free to give to certain people in your life. Because again, we said this in the last time, in the last episode, um, that the tools that were used to oppress us can't be the same tools that we use to build ourselves up. And so that tool of insulting ourselves is something that was used ancestrally to get us to be compliant, right? So now we got to switch that up. I'm going to love myself. You know what, Akua? We're home. Look what you built, this really wonderful quiet space for yourself. 5 minutes before you go and do anything, 15 minutes, whatever it is, just sit in quiet and listen to yourself. And if you rush and forget to do it, oh, okay, it's all right. It's okay. We didn't do it this morning. We'll do it tonight. We'll do it right now.
I'm always crying. I'm always crying. I'm like, this is so beautiful. I want to do that today.
Do it.
Do
Seriously.
it.
I'm always so damn emotional. I'm like, oh my God. I love
You
that.
deserve it. And that is to Erica and to everybody else who's watching. You deserve it. You deserve it. I guess that might be another one that I would add. Know that you deserve it. Again, just like the example you said about the phone, we will say, "Oh, so and so, she need a break. She always going. She need you too, friend. You don't have to have 75,000 hours of stuff to prove that you need a break. You could literally wake up at 8 a.m. and say, I need a break. And take it.
Exactly. And take it.
Take it. You
No,
deserve it.
I agree with you. Like, the whole, like, especially the whole you deserve it piece. I was literally just talking to my mom about deserving stuff, right? Excuse me, this evening. I was so back up a little bit. I For a long time there were things that I have not done because I didn't think I deserved them. So for example, I never got my legs waxed professionally because I'm like, oh, I'm too fat. They're probably gonna charge me $200 because these thighs are dying, right? So I never got them professionally waxed. And so this over the weekend, over the long weekend, I was like, I'm gonna get my legs waxed, right? And so I did that, and of course I'm feeling like self-conscious about myself or whatever. So the woman who did my waxing, she normally does my like my eyebrows and stuff, whatever. And so she does my legs, and she's like, Regina, I just want to tell you that you look amazing, because I dropped 60 pounds, and she hasn't seen me in a while. And so she's like, oh, you just look so good. And she's like, I'm just so proud of you and this and that. And I'm sitting here thinking, this lady is going to be like, why is she procuring my services to remove the hair from them thick ham hocks, And that's literally what I was thinking on my way there. But she's like praising me, and she's like, oh my God, you look so amazing, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And so I was telling my mom that story today, and it was just like, why did I feel like I didn't deserve to get this like where did that come from? Like where did that really come from? And so I really think for us to just sit and just give ourselves grace and really do things that we deserve because like Erica said, you deserve rest because you're a human being. You deserve to breathe because you're a human being. You deserve to decompress and engage in restorative activities just because. You don't have to cross 10 things off of a things to do list before you could do something nice for yourself. And it's not even nice, it's just what you deserve. And so, yeah, that's just my little story that I just wanted to share because I was just literally having this conversation with my mom about it earlier this evening. Yeah, because she was like, "Really? You didn't think like why would you?" I don't know.
These are the stories, and that I think that might go into that category of listening to ourselves, because what am I telling myself? What story am I telling myself about my worthiness to take this break? And where did that come from? And that's the thing I like to know, right? I like to be like, where did that come from? That's not a required path to go down. Identifying that thought and addressing it, like identifying it, having curiosity about it and addressing it, those I would definitely recommend, because I would love to ask you, Regina, when you did it, what changed? Did anything change inside of you in terms of like worthiness, or I don't know,
Yeah,
anything? Was there any different thought or feeling or experience that you had after you did it?
actually, I'm since you asked. So there's a part two to the story, right? And so because the woman, and yes, it was external validation, fine, whatever I got there, right? And so she was like, "Oh, you look good, whatever." And I was wearing these pants that were clearly too big for me because in my mind, I'm still 400 pounds, but I'm not. Like I know it, but I don't know it. If you feel me.
I
And
do.
so, yeah. And so the in the same plaza as her salon, there's a Marshalls. And so she was like, and stop wearing them big pants. You look good, right? And so I said, okay, well, fine. You get. And then her next client was sitting there waiting. She was cracking up. I said, okay, fine. You literally just gave me permission to go two doors down to the Marshalls, right? And so, because I felt like gassed up, but I really felt good about myself. And so I went to Marshalls, and again, me thinking I didn't deserve things. I've always wanted to buy like some nice loungewear because I work from home, and I've always wanted to buy like some nice loungewear that I could wear in the house that makes me feel like I got dressed up for work, but it's still kind of comfortable. And so I found this outfit that I'm wearing now that I found in Marshalls. It was my size, and I'm like, okay, I didn't even have to try it on. I knew it was gonna fit me. And so I got it, and so that little thing. So that was my long-winded way of saying, Akua, that it basically was a catalyst for me
Yeah.
after me getting that wax. And then part three to the story, because the story is still going, right? I always wanted to get a facial on my coochie, a vaginal, whatever it's called. I can't pronounce it, but a coochie facial. And me thinking, okay, I'm too fat to do this. But after the threading lady was like, "Oh no, girl, you look good," I was like, "Okay, well, let me get my coochie clean, not clean." Oh shit,
Can
that
you
sounded. You know what
stop
I'm
saying
saying?
this
Y'all
word?
know what I'm trying to say. Y'all know
You
what I'm
got
trying
a
to say.
threading. They did the threading for your
Oh no 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 no
vaginal.
no 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 no! I got a no. That I would have been in too much pain. But yeah, so I like massages and facials and stuff like that. But I was like, oh, I'm too fat to get with him. But I did it. So like I like literally three things that I have been prolonging for. When I tell you years, years, I did in one weekend in a span of 2 days.
You know what you did not do?
And it feels good that I'm doing what I want to do because now that and I'm not, like I said, I don't want to say I'm completely there. I'm a strong black woman in recovery, right? I'm still, recovering from strong black woman syndrome. But those things, like, it was almost like a behavioral activation for me. So the
Nice.
one
I
thing
like
led to
that.
the next thing to the right. So like it was building upon each other. So now it's like I don't know where this is going to take me. Maybe this is going to take me, maybe it's going to give me enough confidence to get another job, or I don't know, not that I want to leave my job, but just trying to give an example. Maybe it's something else will, you know what I mean? So I feel like that is really helping me get to and stay in my flow state
You
I
know what
love
you did
that.
not do this weekend? Give me a fashion show.
later.
Don't worry, we'll talk about that later.
You see my
Yeah.
outfits right here. It's just this.
I love that those that what is that, a three-part story. I love that those stories. It made me think of two more things of different ways to stop hustling and start flowing. One of them is to lean into it. So you just did something new, something that you had
Mm.
feelings and thoughts about, and you had the opportunity to be like, hey, I'm feeling it, I'm gassed up and do and take it to the next level. And you also could have been like, she don't, whatever. Lean into that positive piece. I did something for myself that I was a little bit concerned. I was worried, I was scared, I was anxious, I was whatever I was. I did it, and it was a good feeling after I did it. Lean into that feeling. Big yourself up like you would your homegirl. You better go, girl. Literally, like Issa Rae in Insecure, like rap to yourself if you need
Yep.
to. You don't gotta have no flow because she didn't. um, you know the character Issa did not have no
Yeah.
flow, but still, like literally, big yourself up in the mirror and literally tell yourself you did good. Write it in a journal, put it on a t-shirt, whatever it is, so you can not only experience yourself doing something that you initially had strong feelings against doing, but then you can also hear your own voice telling you great things about yourself. You did something that you never thought you could do, and you should be the one applauding yourself. And I would just like to say the second one is accountability. Inviting somebody into that space with you and just being like, okay, I'm gonna go get my legs waxed. This is me pretending. She's already done it, but and I don't know. I think I'm gonna cancel the appointment. So I'm gonna call you on Saturday. Can you please just like follow up with me or check in before I go? Make sure I go. Big me up. Like in a space where there are other people who support your goals. They think similarly to you and they support your goals. Those are the people that you can turn to for that accountability to help you move into that flow state because it is a new space. And look at what's coming across the screen, the Strong Black Woman Support Group, that whole community. There's a whole discussion section, and you can talk. Hey, y'all, I'm finna do this. And everybody can big you up, and then you go get it done.
I have a
Yeah.
segue for that. Accountability. My segue and my other one that I want to add on to it is delegate. Delegate
Mm,
things that
mm,
you can't do or don't want to do. Segues because accountability. Regina, I know you wanted to tell in the previous episode my good news, so we can talk about that now because the good news is already here. But so I moved to a different city, and in the process of moving, I was very, very, very overwhelmed, very stressed out. And Regina and I, we co-work quite often, even if we're not even doing actual working tasks. We'll just hop on a call to clean our closet. And as I was preparing to move and getting things ready, she saw in me what I didn't see in myself, and knowing that I was stressed the fuck out. Okay, I was tired. I was like, it was just a lot, and I had a whole mess in my apartment. And so she's like, Erica, okay, just stop. Like, what do you have to get done? And I'm like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. She's okay, 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 okay. Go on TaskRabbit and find somebody to remove the stuff that you don't need anymore. And I was like, she's okay, no, 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 let's just stop. She held me accountable, and we stopped. And she literally, we shared screens. She went online and looked like, okay, what's your zip code? Let's look for somebody to help you right now. Let's do. You're not going to do anything else until you book this right now because I see you and you are extremely stressed out and overwhelmed. I'm just like, oh, she said, no, 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 no. So I ended up getting it done. I think, was it the next day or was it the same day? It was the next morning. People came, got this stuff up out of there. I showed her my background. She's like, "Well, how you feel?" I feel so much better. Like, you have no idea. I feel so relieved and da 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 da. But delegate. If you can't or don't want to do something, delegate. Now, make sure you have the means to do so. That is a part of it. Okay, don't go and say Erica told me to just tell somebody to do it, and I ain't had no dollars. I'm not saying that. But if you can delegate, just go ahead and delegate and say, I can't. This is beyond my control. I don't have the capacity. Learn your capacity. I don't have the capacity, whatever that may look like to you, and say, I need to hand this off to somebody else. That goes for laundry, that goes for cleaning your place. If you need to cook or whatever, if you need to have somebody run some errands for you, there's so many things that you can get done by delegating. TaskRabbit is a great one. We're not getting sponsored by this, by the way. TaskRabbit or Thumbtack, delegate. So I did appreciate the accountability that Regina did lay upon me that day and saying, stop what you're doing because you're stressed out. We're gonna do this right now, and we're gonna just go ahead and make sure that you can get this done so you can just calm down. So I really appreciated that. So delegate was my adding to the list.
Yeah, because just because you can do something don't mean you should do it. Just saying. Just saying.
What that made me think of, and I'm gonna say it. It's there's no precursor or whatever. I guess there will be. Be unapologetic as
Yes.
you're moving and transitioning into this flow stage. You owe no one an
Mhm.
explanation. You owe no one an apology. You owe no one a justification. Be unapologetic. At the end of the day, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. This is whatever reasoning you have for it. As you're transitioning into that, what you may hear, oh, okay, well, now you done got this new job. Now you feeling do 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 do. Oh, now you done got this degree, and now you feeling like this. Oh, now got a little. You got your with the Erica. You got
Little,
your little
little,
podcast, and now
little
you.
Rolls Royce.
There's so many criticisms, and then what we sometimes feel like doing in response. I know, but I have to, because if I don't do it, then I'm gonna feel. I know, no, I don't feel like I'm better than everybody else. No, I just need to get a little time. And then because that guilt has been reintroduced to us, we slowly but surely return back to the very thing that we work so hard to move away from. So be unapologetic. This is who I am. And yes, there's a song. I don't know who sings that. This is who I am. I don't know who that is, but um, anyway, the songs, they happen in my brain. You don't owe anybody an explanation. You don't owe anybody any type of justification, excuse, anything. Those days are over. This is not where you need a letter from your parents to go on the field trip. Transitioning from that hustle to that flow is all about you being able to take care of yourself and be well for yourself, and get that balance in your life. Nobody needs to approve that except for you. Period.
Yo, facts. Because I remember there was a point in my life, and I just caveat. I am speaking from a position of some level of privilege, right? So there was a point in my life where I was thick and into a deep depressive episode where I could not clean, I could not cook, I barely washed my own ass. Okay, but I knew I needed to clean. I knew I needed to have healthy food in my house or whatever, so that I wouldn't DoorDash. So yeah, I hired a housekeeper, and I'm not saying this is the solution for everyone, but like I did get a lot of you don't even got kids. Why you how you going just hire they just come in your house? How the hell they gonna clean it if they don't come in, you damn dum dum? Yeah, they come in my house. Where you meet them from? Does it matter? Like and so I'm not gonna lie. Like I was feeling like with Dag, like I don't have no kids. I ain't got, anyone I really gotta take. I live by myself. It's only me. How'd I make this big mess? But it was like at the time, to Erica's point, I didn't have the capacity. I literally didn't have capacity to brush my teeth. Do you think I'm gonna clean out the fridge?
That part.
So yeah,
That
like
part.
I had to learn
And
to be unapologetic.
it's so frustrating because people have an opinion about everything. Okay,
Every
so you and I'm just using the ones that are coming to my mind. Oh, you need to get a job. You got too much time on your hands. Girl, you too busy. That job, you need a different job because you too busy. Oh my goodness, you need to gain a little weight. You're so thin. Well, you know what? Don't you think you need to push away from the table some? You only got one kid. So how come your house is so messy? Oh my goodness, your house is just so clean. Like, what you think this is? Like some sort of like TV show or something? Like it the reason why we get to be unapologetic is because people don't know what the hell they want. What do you want from me? Like, how much more do you want from me? If I'm living my life to please somebody else, if I'm living
Right.
my life for somebody else's approval or permission, I'm going to stay stuck
Hmm.
forever. And I don't like that for any of us. So, as you move, be unapologetic. You owe nobody nothing. You owe nothing
Because
to no one.
right, because people are flaky. People are flighty. You know what's in vogue today is going to be trash tomorrow. So it's
right.
like you said, stand on business.
Period.
Heard about that.
Period. What's in vogue this morning will be taboo this
Right.
afternoon.
Just
Exactly.
that quick.
Just that quick. Just
Right.
that quick. So I
So
think
if you
defining
navigate in
your
the
why,
world based off of what other people think and feel and say, you not gonna be stable at all.
period. Period. Yeah. I think we got to know why we're doing it too. I think that might go back to the listen to yourself. Maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the
Absolutely.
wants. It ties into the want too. You have to
Fair.
want it
Fair. Yep.
and why. Yeah.
I
Just do what
agree.
you want to do. And I've gotten pushed back like,
Do
oh,
what
you
you
didn't tell me that you were doing
want.
this. You didn't tell me you were doing that. Why I didn't know. Those who needed to know knew.
No.
So
Yeah.
I
Yes,
like
I
that
mean
being apologetic.
we talked about a lot. We talked about various ways to stop hustling and start flowing. And one was you gotta want it. You gotta want to stop hustling. You want it. You gotta want to start flowing. You gotta listen to yourself, right? Give yourself grace. Stop coming for yourself. Come for the trolls on the internet. Don't come for yourself. Come for the trolls on the internet. And know that you deserve it. Lean into your new positive way of thinking. Lean into that new flow state. We talked about accountability and delegating, right? Learning your capacity, learning how to restore yourself when you've reached capacity and be totally unapologetic. Stand on business, 12 toes down.
Ooh, 12. Now is that an extra one on both feet or don't matter? Just 12 in total.
Define it for yourself.
I like that.
And while you're
Yeah, that's good
defining how many toes you got on each foot, sign up for the Strong Black Woman Redefined Conference that's happening October 10th and 11th. Day 2 falls on National Black Girl Day off. I'm not telling you to call out, but I am telling you that October 11th is National Black Girl Day off. Just saying.
Just think of
We
10,
still have
11.
early
10, 11.
bird and 11. We still have early bird tickets available. It's going to be an amazing program. But yeah, like this, I mean, no, today we didn't give you step by step, do X, Y, and Z, but these are things that we all need to think about and process, right? So that we can transition from that hustle state to the flow state. If you want more concrete XYZ, step one, step two, step three, then sign up for the 5 ways to slay your self care in 2025 and beyond. This is our first virtual masterclass of the year. It's in February, February 25th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're already part of the Strong Black Woman support group community, you get this virtual masterclass for free. So if you want the masterclass for free, join the Strong Black Woman. I was about to say redefine Strong Black Woman support group to get the masterclass free. If you don't want to join the community, but you do want to take the class, Go ahead and sign up on Eventbrite. We have the link ticking across the screen now. It'll be in the description box too. So we're almost at the top of the hour. Do we have any, last final thoughts?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also important to, when you're transitioning from the hustle to the flow, maybe write out the pros and cons of you not going to the flow. That can also probably help you along the way. Like, if I don't transition to this flow, what's going to happen? Or what would the long term effect be? If I do transition to this flow, what could it be? But what did she hang up on us?
We
She
still
didn't come back.
recording. She'll come back.
Figuring out like what are the pros and cons of the the hustle to the flow part. So again, like I said, figuring out the pros and cons. What happens if I don't transition to this flow? What happens if I do transition to flow? Will it make me a better person? Will I feel better? Will I feel worse? What does that look like? So I think that's something that we can think about.
Yeah. I okay, there you go. Cause I was like, welcome back.
Sorry, I did not delegate cooking dinner tonight, so I had to run and turn the oven off because my chicken was burning. All right.
So she did it on
No, it's
purpose.
good. It's
Okay.
good. Yeah,
No, I was
yeah, I
just
have
saying
some
about the
toys.
pros and cons of the list,
Oh, yes,
basically.
no, exactly. What I wanted to say to that, Erica, the pros and cons. So, doing a pros and cons list is actually a really good exercise to do. It's one of the skills that is taught in DBT. DBT stands for dialectical behavioral therapy. And I'd be more than happy to talk about that in a future podcast episode because DBT has really helped me in my healing journey with respect to like my depression. So I'll like if y'all ever want to talk about it, I can definitely talk about how I used DBT. That's why my organization is called Mindful and Melanated because part of DBT is mindfulness. They teach you mindfulness, and so and the pros and cons list is one of those things to help you with your mindfulness. So you can like just really just being present in the moment and writing out, your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So yeah, if y'all ever want me to dive deep into that, oh, maybe that could be another master. That might be a Patreon only. You got to be part of the community.
Don't
Yeah,
be missing out, girl. Sign up.
yeah. Y'all might have to join the group to get that. I don't know if I could put that on the YouTubes. I don't know.
It looked like you say get exclusive content. So that sounds exclusive.
Yeah, we might have to say that for the members. But yeah, so thank you for your final thought, Erica. What about you, Akua?
Um, I think in the topic, how to stop hustling and start flowing, I think why, out of all the things that we're talking about,
Hmm.
why is an important um, thing to consider. Why to stop hustling and start flowing. And at the end of the day, you are important, you are valuable, and there is a healing that is available to us when we get into that flow state. And when what we're healing is not just the things that happen in your life in this particular lifetime, in our lifeline, in our DNA, embedded in the makeup of who we are, is centuries of trauma and pain. And those that came before us weren't necessarily able to flow. They weren't allowed to flow. They didn't have the opportunity or the ability to do so. And so, one of the things that we get to do um, to heal that part of ourselves is we get to enter into that flow, into that self preservation, that self care, into that healthy wellness state. So, um, I think that even plays into the pros and cons, that plays into listening to yourself, that plays into a lot of what we said tonight. Why do I stop the hustling and start flowing? Because I need to preserve this valuable vessel, and that's me. and you are the me in the sentence.
Got it? You out there, you were the me in the sentence. Okay. Well, I think we had a really good, enriching, productive conversation tonight. We talked about several ways. I actually listed them out. We had talked about quite a few ways to stop hustling and start flowing. And so I highly encourage all of you who are listening, who are watching, to really try one or two. Try one or two. If you need that extra support, if you want like the concrete bam, 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 ABC, XYZ, this is how you do it. Please sign up for the 5 ways to slay your self care in 2025 and beyond. It is a virtual masterclass that co-facilitating with Dr. Akua. It's going to be February 25th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're already part of the Strong Black Women Support Group community, you get this virtual masterclass for free. If you want to attend but don't want to join the community, it's fine. Just sign up via Eventbrite. So again, I encourage you to try one or two tips from today's episode. Thank you again for tuning in to the Strong Black Woman Support Group podcast, a mindful and melanated podcast here on YouTube. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.